Morning, ATD family. We are back for another episode of Around the Diamond. We are 4 weeks into the season. It's crazy to think May is upon us in a week. It's hard for me to believe it, to be honest with you.
Hard. Hard for them to believe. Yeah. Yeah.
April baseball has been crazy. Probably one of the craziest months of baseball I've seen in a number of years. And Baseball Bill and I are here to talk about it. We're going to start this off, the show off as we always do. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. There's going to be some stuff we're going to talk about that doesn't make me so happy when we get to the standings. But, otherwise, I'm still a free man and I haven't hurt anybody this week. So that's a step in the right direction.
Well, just remember, I've had to deal with not being pleased in the standings for the last 2.5 years. So, I mean,
No, you're a Giants fan. That's most
it
of your
can
life.
take a week.
You know,
Take a week and deal with it.
yeah,
Deal with
maybe see a psychiatrist or something. Who knows?
I have a good one on call. I can give them to you.
There you go. Yeah, I'm even drinking out of the
Third
cup for
place.
good luck.
Third place. Um, sorry. I had a
Yeah,
frog.
you better clear that throat.
I had a frog in my throat, my friend. A
Yeah,
frog.
you had something else in the
Big
throat.
frog. Couldn't
I'm
get out.
I'm Team
And
Kiri
like
when whatever is
it was
going on. I'm Team Kiri.
choking. It was like choking.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure.
we want to start this off by thanking our amazing sponsors this month. Gravity Red Productions, man, oh man, do they put out amazing, amazing content
They do.
for us at the Top Fan Rivalry community, amongst many other organizations that they support. Bill, what are these guys doing?
What are they not doing? Man, these guys make movies, they make shows, they will come to you. I mean, their fee structure is incredible. They come to you, they'll push out your content, they'll help you with spons. They'll help you with increasing foot traffic to social media. I mean, they do everything. These guys
Man,
are amazing. Darren and Curtis over there are amazing.
man, oh man, we are so thankful to have Gravity Red Productions supporting us at Top Fan Rivalry and ATD. And what about Lang Roofing? These guys are close to you. You have a personal.
Yes, these guys are very close to me, man. These guys have been in business since before I was around. These guys have done great, great, great jobs all throughout Orange County, LA County, Inland Empire, San Diego County. These are great. I was actually at their corporate offices last week, picking up something and just walking into that corporate office. It's such a down home feel. It's family owned business, but it's such a down home feel. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be a good
Now,
time.
now you said they're in the Inland Empire.
Excuse me?
You do some stuff in the Inland Empire.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're in the
Run on
Inland
Duncan?
Empire as well.
Does Lang Roofing run on Duncan?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure. I knew where you were going with that. I'm sure. I knew. Yeah,
But
it's
we
early
want
on the West Coast, but hey, I got Sammy already. I know him well enough.
we want to thank our sponsors for supporting us to do a
Hmm.
week that we can give you, the baseball fans, all the great baseball knowledge that we have stuck in our minds, between our ears. I have to, because I realized I missed this last week. I never threw out a trivia question to you
Okay.
last week, Baseball Bill. So I got one for
Uh-oh. Hit it. Let's go.
trivia question for the week. Which pitcher threw the only perfect game in World
Don
Series?
Larson.
You're supposed to wait till the halfway mark of the show, but yes, you are right.
All
Don
right. Listen,
Larson.
you got to get something that is going to be a little bit harder. I mean, Don Larson is the answer to that. He was a Yankee, and Vin Scully, I believe, was part of the broadcast because it was against the Dodgers.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I have another one for you, and this
Oh
one
no,
you have
no,
to
no! It's
wait
one a
till
week,
halfway
isn't it?
through. Well, that was last week's question. This is this week's
Oh,
question.
okay. All right.
So this week's question: Who was the first manager to be ejected from a World Series game?
Ooh, okay. I think I've got an answer to that, but I'll wait until mid-show so I don't
We'll
get
wait
yelled
till
at
we
about
get
that mid-show thing.
sponsorship segment. You shall wait till the second sponsorship segment to release your answer. That is my ruling, Judge Sam in attendance.
There you go.
Let's get started with standings. Let's jump right into this. I will take the American League this week. The AL East is not as exciting as we thought it was going to be here at ATD and TFR. Yankees
Hmm.
are 15 and 11, 6 and 4 in their last 10. Red Sox 14 and 13, finally breaking that 500 mark and moving themselves back up into second place. Game and a half back. Blue Jays 13 and 13, hitting the 500 mark with 2 games back. Rays 3 games back at 12 and 14, and the Orioles last in the AL East with 10 and 14 and 4 games out of first. As we move into the Central, Tigers have reclaimed that top spot, 15 and 10, 6 and 4 in their last 10 games. Guardians at 14 and 10, Royals 13 and 14, 3 games back. Twins 10 and 16, and see you next year, White Sox 6 and 20, somehow under 10 games back, but not by much, a half a game. As we look at the West, Rangers claiming that top spot, 15 and 11. Mariners up in second place, 14 and 12. Astros 13 and 12. Athletics 13 and 13. And the Angels, where you predicted them to be, in last place, 2.5 games back out of first. Bill, as we look at this American League, what are the things that are popping out at you this week?
Popping out, I'll start with the negative so I can end on the positive. Popping out Orioles at 10 and 14. That's a little slower than I anticipated that they'd start.
Mm.
The Twins at 10 and 16. That is a little bit slower than I anticipated the start. And the Angels, obviously. The Angels started off hot, and as you're showing on the screen, so for those of you on Bleacher Brothers Network, you're not seeing the screen, but unless you're watching on YouTube, but 3 and 7 in the last 10 doesn't get it there. So there's the stuff that pops out to me on the negative side. On the positive side, there's the American League East, like you said, Sam, is not performing the way that we thought. But let's talk about the Tigers. The Tigers are making it happen, and the
Mm.
Guardians are a relatively good team now. The Guardians are playing without Emmanuel Casse right now,
Yeah,
who's got some shoulder discomfort, but has not been placed on the IL yet, but does have some shoulder discomfort. So that's a little concerning. But the Tigers are hitting on all cylinders. Spencer Torkelson has come around. Riley Green is coming around. Their pitching staff, Jack Flaherty's coming around. They've got a good team over there.
yeah,
The American League West, that's just a hodgepodge of mess. That's all that is. And the fact that the A's are even right now, that shows me something. So there you go. That's my breakdown on the American League.
I love it. Now, the one team that's been still kind of shocking me with their production and their
Yep, yep.
performance, Royals.
Uh, yes, but they started last week. They were a lot slower than they were this week. You notice their last 10 games have gotten better over this
Yeah.
last week. But yes, yes. And by the way, the White Sox at 6 and 20, that is a terrible record, and they're 2 and 8 in their last 10. But their games are a lot more competitive. Remember, they only won 41 games last season,
Yeah.
right? And so at this pace, they're going to win about 10 more games than they did last season,
Mm.
which is a good improvement. I mean, it's a 20% improvement, which is sad to say, right? But that's a 20% improvement. But their games are a lot more competitive than than their record looks. They're not blowouts like they were last
Yeah.
year.
Very, very
So
true.
yeah,
Um,
just ask our friend Mike over at Heads Up Sports Cards about the White Sox.
yeah, right. I'm sure he's got his feelings about that one.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure he does.
the other team that I kind of want to talk about real quick before we
Yeah.
move on to the National League is this athletics team.
Uh-huh.
500 record, 7 and 3 in their last 10, only 2 games out at first. We had our friend Jackson who does the daily review, who does the weekly review with
Mhm.
a mind-blowing prediction,
Yep.
which I still can't believe. But
Yep.
when we get him on, I'll have many, many, many questions about this with him.
Okay, okay, I like it.
Does the AL West need to be worried about this athletics team?
So we all grew up with one of these kids, right? Came from kind of a sketchy family life, maybe a broken home, whatever. Um, wasn't always the most popular kid, wasn't always the best dressed kid, but for some reason, the dude or the lady always scored really well on stuff. And you're like, how is this possible? Like you're undervaluing this, this individual, yet they perform very, very well, right? We all know this person, right? And I mean, kids can be brutal, so I'm not comparing it to that. The Athletics literally don't have a home. They're called the Athletics. They're not the Sacramento Athletics, even though they play in Sacramento. They're not the Oakland Athletics anymore. They're not even the Las Vegas Athletics yet. So they're literally a team without a home,
Mm.
and they have no expectations because they've had a couple of really, really bad seasons. So they're beating everything. So Sam, to bring them up is fantastic in my mind. What you're talking about, because these dudes are really, really good. Um,
Yeah,
when I say really, really good, I'm not saying we're going to see them in the World Series. I'm just saying that they're really, really good, and I think they're out level of expectations.
100%. And it's going to be interesting to see how this AL West shakes out as we continue to move into May and June and seeing how the standings change. But if I'm in the AL West, I am not sleeping on the Athletics. I'm
No,
just not.
no,
I don't
not at
think
all.
any of these teams right now in the West you can sleep on just with how close it is. Because you're within 3 games of first, no matter where you sit.
Correct.
It's going to be interesting to watch this AL West. Much more exciting to me than watching the AL East, even though it is still close in that division. But let's just see how this all shakes out. Let's just see. That's why we're here.
Let's
Bill,
see.
take this National League.
You got it. So we're not going to talk about the boys and queens just yet. We'll do that a little bit later. Philadelphia Marlins, Nationals, they're all kind of running Braves. Braves have had a really, really good last 10 games. They're kind of getting themselves out of the cellar. Uh, that division is going to be a juggernaut more so than what we had anticipated it would be as a division. I had predicted the Reds to win the Central. The Reds are making their move. They're only 3.5 back. The Cubs are playing lights out right now. I think they've scored 400 or 500 runs already in their first 27 games. Um, I think they put up in a 2 game series with the Dodgers. I think they put up 18 runs or something like that. It was a stupid. One game they won 11-10. The Padres are still running first place. The Giants are half a game back. The Dodgers are a game back. And then the Diamondbacks are 3 games back. Those 4 teams are going to fight in this division all season long.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen a lot of injuries with a lot of these good teams. So on the negative sides, nothing really in the National League East, and the negative side in the Central. Where are the Cardinals and where are the Brewers? Because the Reds are just getting better, and so are the Pirates, and so are the Cubs. So where are
Yeah.
the Cardinals and Brewers? Rockies have a worse record um, than the White Sox. They are currently holding down Major League Baseball at 4-21. Congratulations, boys. At least you get to play in a with clean baseballs and good looking jerseys, right? Keep coming to the stadium. Don't worry, it'll all end in September. If you get a shot, you got a chance for another 100 losses to tie the White Sox. Who knows? On a positive note, on these things, again, we'll talk about the Mets a little bit. On a positive note, pay attention to what the Marlins and the Nationals are doing. Dylan Cruz and James Wood over at the Nationals are doing some special things. They will be household names, everybody. I promise you they will be. And the Marlins are playing a little bit above expectation. I don't think that they'll survive, but the Nationals will be right there. The Nationals may even finish above the Braves. I'm not saying they will. I think the Braves are going to turn a corner on that. Um, and so, but again, that's a positive. Positive, Cubs are just killing it. Reds are right there. Positive, the Giants are holding on, and that hurts me to say, but they are holding on to their very, very good start. Let's see how that plays itself out throughout the season. I don't know that they have the longevity, but I also the Dodgers are so banged up they could stay in second place if the Dodgers continue to have these banged up. I think out of the 26 games, everybody tells, oh, you got Mookie, Freddie, Shohei. Well, I think out of the 26 games, those guys have only played together like seven of those games, either
Yeah.
between a paternity list or or injuries. They've only played like seven of the games. So they haven't really hit the dog days and they haven't really been successful with staying healthy. So there you go. Sam, walk me through the NL, please. Ready,
Oh,
set, go.
through this National League is
I mean, National League,
crazy.
I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, Mets are are ahead in that division. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but man, they are on fire right now. They are
Yeah.
just playing great baseball. You mentioned the Cubs. The Cubs have the largest runs scored to runs allowed differential out of any other team in baseball right now. They have a
Yes.
47 run differential.
Because they're scoring 200 games, runs a game.
Yeah, I mean, they've scored 167 total runs this year so far, allowed 120, which is just incredible, incredible differential for that team. They're playing fantastic offense and stellar, stellar defense right now. Um, but watch out for this Reds team. They are creeping up. They are starting to figure it out. Um, you know, 6-6 at home, 6-6 away, or 7-7 away. Um, I mean, the thing that you need to be worried about for the thing the Reds really right now, I think need to be worried about is that the teams that they're facing with an above 500 record, they're only 5-7. So they're on the losing end of that. But that can easily turn around with how well they have been playing. So keep an eye on the Reds because I agree with you. They're a team you're going to want to watch in that Central Division that is slowly starting to creep themselves back into this game.
Yes.
And when you look at the
Yes.
the West minus the Rockies is at this point the wild card is going to be run through the West. It just is at this point. If you're
Wild Wild
asking
West.
me which division is going to hold the most positions in the postseason if the season were to end today, every division should be worried about the NL West because they are just playing way too good for how they are. I'd even be worried for the Mets to play any of the teams in the NL West. And the Mets have the best record in baseball.
Well, we're
So,
proving it right now with the standings, Sam, that if the season were to end today, now mind you, it's April 26th, but if the season were to end today, the Mets, the Cubs, and the Padres would win their divisions, and the three wild card teams would be the Giants, Dodgers, and Diamondbacks.
exactly.
So,
Couldn't say more.
I mean,
Um, Yeah, no, this National League way more competitive in my opinion than the American League. While the standings are showing that the American League is a little bit closer, I don't feel the American League's games have been as exciting as the games in the National League. And that's just something to keep in mind. Um, a lot of the standings on this board right now with how far some teams are back will drastically change in the next month.
yeah.
I see the Phillies inching closer, probably getting within 2.5 to 3 games. I see the Braves, like you said, turning it around, minus the fact Spencer Stash Strider came back for a game and is now back on IL. Minor injury. They're saying it's something with just some strain. I think it's just his first day back, so they want to give him a little bit of extra rest. But the
The thing
Braves,
that concerns me about that, let me interrupt you for a second, Sam. The thing that
yeah,
concerns me about that is the mental game,
Mhm.
right? You finally reached your pinnacle of your life. You're in the show, right? You've got a big contract. Money's not an issue for you anymore unless you're done with money, right? But you can't stay healthy. At some point, the mental side will break down. And so for some of these guys, I think that there's a lot to do with the mental side, right?
I
Um,
couldn't agree more.
yeah.
Couldn't agree
I
more.
I love to see uh Jacob DeGrom doing as well as he's doing because of that.
Yeah,
Right?
you know, it's going to be interesting just to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah.
Uh, but you got to see how it shakes out. You got to keep it here to ATD every Saturday.
ATD.
Kind of find out what's going on.
Yep.
Uh, MLB, ESPN, they keep calling Bill and I to do our own show there. We keep saying we like doing it on the independent circuit. So you got
You
to keep,
talk to him. I send him a voicemail. I
I
see
mean,
that they're
I
calling. I
call
send a voicemail.
because, you know, I'm always going to take a call from ESPN. MLB is always a shakeup, but ESPN will take a call from.
Uh,
Um,
you know.
so as we move into the injury report, two big injuries on this list that we are going to call out.
Yep.
Nestor Cortez for Milwaukee out until the beginning of June, June 6th, with an elbow injury. And the other injury we're going to talk about right now is Justin Steele for the Cubs. Uh, Trevor Stevens out with an elbow injury, expected out until June 1st. Stallmount for Cincinnati's out for the season, as well as Brandon Bilak for Arizona. But the two big ones we're going to touch on right now and just dive into a bit is Nestor Cortez and Justin Steele. Bill, how big of an impact are these two injuries for this team, for those
So I'm going to
teams?
start with the one. I'm going to start with the one that I think is the greater impact, and that's Justin Steele.
Mhm.
Now, the Cubs need this guy to be really, really good. But, but I will say, but when you're playing as good as the Cubs are, when the trade deadline comes, you're a marquee franchise. You're a historic franchise. You play in one of the oldest ballparks in the game. Everybody wants to visit that ballpark when they say what's on their bucket list. So you can attract good talent when you're good. So Justin Steele, that take a hit. Nestor Cortez made the cardinal sin in committed the cardinal sin in spring training this year. He ran his mouth. When he ran his mouth and said that the Yankees were better than the Dodgers in the World Series, you put a bullseye on your back, especially when you give up one of the most iconic home runs. You put a bullseye on your freaking back. Then once you put that bullseye on your back, then you got to perform. Now that you're going to be out for a month and a half of the season, that doesn't help your credibility or your street cred with what you want to say. So Nestor, I feel bad for him. His elbow being out, I never want to see anybody hurt, but his elbow and his apparently his yapper are on the IL until June 6th.
Yeah, that Justin Steele being out for, I agree with you. Justin Steele being out for the season for the Cubs is a hit. It definitely hurts that organization, but they are just playing so well right now. That while it hurts, I see them being able to recover just because of how well the team has been covering
Yeah.
it. Um, I would, and I know you say it's more impactful, but I think Nasty Nestor in Milwaukee is probably more impactful. Only due to the fact that the Brewers are 4 games out. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're trying to inch back up. They're only half a game out of second place. The Cubs, they've just been playing so well that it's hard to say that the Justin Steele injury is going to be a major dent in their franchise or in the
Okay.
team this year. But I think you're right. You notice when players leave a team and they go to a new organization, the one thing that I feel you're always told is keep your opinion to yourself about where you came from. It's what you should all. It's what you've always been taught. It's why you don't talk bad about others, because karma will come back and bite you. And Nestor, like you said, broke the cardinal rule. He talked badly about the team
And
he came.
and and by the way, people, if you're in the central area of the country slash the AL Central or NL Central, don't drink the water. Apparently, we got a brewer out, a guardian out, a red out, and a cub out. Just don't drink the water if you're in either one of those divisions you're visiting a game. I mean,
No,
maybe that's the right. Who knows? I just noticed that. And that's my best Saturday humor. I'll be here till Wednesday. Take the waitress. All right, what's next, Sam?
well, what's next is we got to give another shout out to our amazing sponsorship.
Yes, we do. These
Lane
guys.
Roofing, the family-owned business out there in Southern California, doing amazing things in their communities and putting out some amazing roofs. Did they do your roof, Bill?
No, 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 no. Because we live in a condo.
Ah,
But
you're
you know what? When we're gonna redo the roofing, I'm definitely going to get them a bid for doggone sure. That's for doggone sure, my friend.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. They are just so impactful, touching every area of this of Southern
Yep.
California, really doing what's best for the community, for their customers, helping everyone out. Um, and then Red Gravity Productions. I mean, we can't say enough about how great these guys are. The products that they put out, the videos that they give, the clips that they're able to provide for the Instagram traffic through TFR and ATD is just incredible. Um, these guys are always just willing to go above and beyond to help any of the organizations they support with great materials. Make sure you hit them up if you have any media presence that you need done. Strongly encourage they will travel to wherever you need.
Yep.
But
Yep.
as I like to say, we want to thank our sponsors for supporting us so we can do what we love to do, which is give you great baseball knowledge. Now, before we move on to the next segment,
I knew this was
let's
gonna. I was
get back.
hoping. Yeah,
Let's
I was
get back
hoping you
to that
forget.
trivia question. So to remind everyone on the show, that second trivia question we had for today, who was the first manager to be ejected from a World Series game in baseball?
Okay, so here's my. I think I'm gonna be 1 and 2 on these today. Right? I killed it with the Don Larson thing, but
You a layup with the Don Larson thing. Don't try to.
no, you thought I wasn't gonna get it. But you forgot I was against the Dodgers. All right. Here's the thing. Here was my rationale, and you're going to tell me I'm wrong, so I'm just going to give it to you. Normally, I would look at people that played in a lot of World Series, like um, like Walter Alston, who played in a lot of World Series. Uh, Billy Martin was classic for getting kicked out of games, but I think George Steinbrenner would lose his marbles if Billy Martin got kicked out of games or got kicked out of a World Series game. So the only one that I'm going to go with is I'm going to go with the guy that I think has been ejected the most in Major League Baseball history. And I'm probably going to be wrong on this, but I'm going to go with Bobby Cox. That's as good as I can do.
Okay, you are wrong.
I
You
am
are,
wrong.
you are wrong. The first manager to be ejected from a World Series game
Uh-huh.
was Frank Chance for the Chicago Cubs as a player manager back in 1910.
Okay, I'm gonna have to now I'm gonna have to get done with the show because I think I remember, and I'm pretty confident on this. I think I remember Bobby Cox getting tossed out of one of the World Series games,
It might
and
even
I
been
could,
top out of one of the World Series games. But Frank Chance was the first manager ever thrown out of a World Series game.
okay, I'm gonna have to look this up during the show because first of all, he was kicked out of a World Series game, right? Was I
I'm not
right about that?
That you are 1,000% right on. I'm not
Okay.
questioning the fact that you are not
Okay.
on that. He has been
Okay.
ejected from a World Series game, but he was not the first manager ever ejected from a World Series game.
Okay. Let's see here.
Who?
Interesting. Interesting. We'll come back to this, sir. We'll come back to this. Let's keep moving on with the show. I'm interested to see the oh, this is oh my gosh. There have been a ton of people. Well, wait a second. According to this website now, and I don't know that we have permission to use their names, so I won't, but according to this, the first reading this, Billy Martin's been tossed out. Bobby Cox has been tossed out. Earl Weaver has been tossed out. I should have said Earl Weaver too. But Huey Jennings, according to this website, was the first World Series manager to get tossed out in 1907.
Well, we are going to have to get some clarification on who was the first manager tossed out because I am as well seeing it. But I will say,
I'm
according to baseballalmanac.com, Bobby Cox is the only man, is the first and through today the only World Series participant ejected from two World Series contests.
Oh, hey, see, look at I should get half credit for this.
I
I should
mean,
get half credit for
I
this
didn't say
because
you were wrong,
you
but
don't
that's what I
know if
said. You
your
weren't
answer is right.
wrong. You
No, no,
weren't
no, you don't know
wrong,
that your
but you
answer is
weren't
right.
right.
Ah, this guy, according to the website I was on, your answer was wrong. So I'm not even gonna give myself a loss on that one. I'm gonna call myself 1.5
Give yourself a half.
out of
I'll give
two.
you a half. I'll give you a half on that. I'll
Man,
I'll I'll throw you half credit. It's like high school. You get, 99.5. You're just
there you
shy of
go.
a.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Let's take a look at the stolen base leader count. This one has changed a little bit, not as much as our home run counter, but we
Yeah.
had a nice increase in stolen bases last week 485, this week 643. If you are listening this on the Bleacher Brothers radio and not watching it on YouTube, we got Pete Crow Armstrong now tied with O'Neill Cruz for the leader in stolen bases.
Yep.
Ellie Superman De La Cruz has finally made his appearance on the leaderboard with 10 stolen bases. Feel like this guy has just been on a rampage running the base path in the last week. Victor Scott for St. Louis is at 9, and Randy Rosarina
No, no,
closing
it's
the
Randy.
top five with 8.
It's Reno.
Randy, who? Or
Got
Rosarine.
across the
Yeah,
R's
with
in between. Yeah.
um, anything shocking you on this? Are you surprised it
No,
took so long
no.
for
The
Ellie
thing
to
that I
make
love
the
is
narrative?
two of these five people are on my fantasy team. Victor Scott
Oh, there you go.
and Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA and Victor Scott are on my fantasy team. So I've got 21 stolen bases so far this year.
Take it.
No, none of this. I watched, I was telling you in the pre show today, I watched O'Neill Cruz play against the Angels in Anaheim this week. He hit a bomb on Wednesday night. When I say a bomb, he hit a freaking bomb out of center field and stole a base in that game. That kid is good. He is really, really good.
Oh yeah. I mean, O'Neill Cruz is going to be again a household name. Like
Correct.
no questions asked. Are you surprised it took Ellie so long? Are you surprised it took him the first month of the season to hit this list?
He'll have 50 stolen bases this season.
Yeah.
So he'll be on it in the long haul.
Okay. Let's take a look at this home run counter.
Yep.
There are four players tied for first place in home runs this year,
Yep.
as of right now. It is insane.
Soderstrom, Riley, Cal Riley, Corbin Carroll, and Mike Trout.
All with 9 home runs, and Tommy Tanks, as Bill likes to call him, rounding out the top five with 7 home runs. There were a couple of other guys with 7, but we're keeping Tommy up there solely for the fact that I did not want to type a different name into the report this week. Um, If it was me, I probably would have picked someone other than the Dodger, but I gave Bill his flowers. Um,
This guy.
uh,
Sam was lazy, so apparently I got my flowers. That's how I see it. That's what it translates to.
834 home runs this week. We're totaling up to 811. Bill, are we on pace still to beat 2024's numbers and lose to 2023? Or do you think we're kicking up the pace a little bit and maybe, just maybe, we might beat that 2023 number?
The latter. I think we've got a shot for the 2023. And as it warms up and balls start flying out of yards, remember we were 180 home runs this week, right? We still have what is it? Let's see, May, June, July, August, and September. So another 5 months. So another 20 weeks. Another 20 weeks puts us darn near close to the home run count for last season and puts us nipping on the heels of the 2023 count. So, and notice you don't see Arson in here. Notice you don't see some of the big cats that you normally would see on here. So
Yeah.
wait until these boys start picking it up. Don't worry. Don't worry. We got time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, baseball is a long season. 162 games. That's why we love it. Gives us
Yep.
something to watch every night. Even if it's not our team, there is a game on.
Yep.
Always remember that. Let's get into our first main topic of conversation for today before we get into Bill's corner. We talked about the Diamondbacks. They're currently sitting in fourth place in the NL West, but Corbin Carroll, who if you're a baseball fan and this guy's name is like new to your tongue, you have been living under a rock for the last
Yes.
3 years. You just
Preach.
you're
Preach,
literally
Sam.
living under a freaking rock.
Yes.
Corbin Carroll is probably one of the hottest players in baseball right now. He has been killing it in the field. Behind the plate, he is cranking behind the plate. I mean, right now he's batting 315, OBP of 387, 667 slugging average, OPS of 1.54, 23 RBIs, 9 home runs. I mean, 5 stolen bases. Bill, what is he doing that is just lighting a fire?
So you also have something interesting. This is technically for him his season. Now his first season he only played 32 games, right? He was a later call up. Kid's 24 years old. Sam, the guy's got 39 hits and he's 24 years old. He had 161 hits in 2023. So he had an off season last season. Um, Corbin Carroll is one of those guys. Again, the Arizona Diamondbacks don't get the same pub. They don't get the same pub as the Yankees. They don't get the same pubs as the Cubs or the Red Sox or the Dodgers. They just they don't. And I don't know why, but this guy is really, really good. When you look at his batting average being at 315, and now that means he's had 124 plate appearances as of filming. He's had 111 at bats, right? Obviously, you take out the walks for that, for those of you listening. But like Sam said, his stat line: two triples, 9 home runs, 5 stolen bases, caught stealing 0 times, 10 walks. The guy's just seeing the ball very, very well, and he's an impact player. He is the player that will keep the Diamondbacks relevant this season. He
Yep,
is the player that is going to keep the Diamondbacks relevant.
100%.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, no, I think you're, completely on path with that. I mean, look, he has 19 extra base hits this year. When you're looking at batting average on balls in play, he has a 356 average on balls on the batting average where balls are in play. I mean, that is just an incredible, incredible. number to be at right now. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to look at those stats, some of these stats that he's got up, and just not be impressed with what he's doing. I mean, look, for every 12 at bats he's having, 12 and a third at bats, he's hitting a home run.
Yep. And
I mean,
that's Mark McGuire area, by the way.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
that's big time.
he
Now,
he's got good eyes on the ball right now. His swing to contact has just been incredible all season. I mean, look, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, you should be over the moon excited about what Corbin Carroll has been able to bring to that organization in the last 4 years. And just wait, because when that man gets his big contract, boy, oh boy, is it going to be a sight to see, and it will be all the talk of the town.
now, Sam, let's talk numbers for a second, right? Let's talk numbers. 470,000. That is what he's making per month right now. Okay. I'm going to say this only, and this is weird to say this, but only, right? He is only making 5.65, um, 5.625 million this season. Now, next season, because he signed that contract, he's with the Diamondbacks for another 6 seasons. Then it goes up to 12.62, 12.62, 14.62, then 28.62, 28.62. So he's doing it on a relatively bargain basement discount. The man's not playing for the cash. The man is very effective right now. So I
Yeah,
like it. I
yeah.
like it.
He signed an 11, yeah, it was an 8-year deal. He signed for $111 million. Um, looking at when that contract ends, he will be 30 at the end of that he'll have a club option at 30, and then he's an unrestricted free agent at 31. Bill, if he plays the way he's been playing over the next, what, 5 seasons? Let's go 5 seasons. Let's just assume the Cubs don't pick up the club option.
You mean Diamondbacks?
I mean, sorry, the Diamondbacks don't pick up the club option on Corbin Carroll. And in
Okay.
2031, he is an unrestricted free agent at the age of 30.
Yep.
If he's playing the way he's playing, do you see a $500 million contract coming his way?
In 5 years, probably. Because let's again by the numbers, right? By the numbers. Um, he currently, I'm just pulling this up. Um, he is currently with a career. If he just stays on pace, right? Just we'll just call it on pace with average numbers. He will probably in the next 5 years he'll cross the 1,000 hit threshold, and he'll probably be at about 200 to 300 runs, and he'll have 400 stolen bases in his being at 30 years old. Yeah, probably. Uh, but here's what I would do if I were the Diamondbacks. I would wait until he's 28, not even worry about the club option in 30 when he's at 30. I would wait until he's about 28, look at his numbers, and give him contract extension. Say, hey, Corbin, we want to have you play till you're 40. You're 28 now. Let us just, you've got, we're going to pick up the club option on you. We're going to pay you your 28 year, your 29 year, and we're going to pick up the club option. We're going to sign you for the next 10 years. Here's 500 mil tickets. Sign it and be done.
Yeah. I think if you're Corbin Carroll, that's the best. I think that is an amazing. I think you're spot on with that. What I will be curious to see is what the outfield market is looking like as he gets to his 28th his 28th year, 29th year, 30th year. Because as you and I both know, that is what's going to play a factor into where his bargaining power is going to go. If he says, "Hey, look, you could, if I sign this extension in 3 years, the market's going to be wide open for me to make a big buck. Why would I take this option now? Let's see how this plays out.
Uh-huh.
If he's
No,
a
I
money guy, he's going to play it. If he's like, hey, look, I'm dedicated to the team. You drafted me. You brought me up. You've nurtured me. X,
yep.
Y, Z. You know, we're going to see what kind of player Corbin Carroll is as he comes over the
Yeah.
next 5 years to see what type of career player he's going to be.
100%. 100%.
Let's dive into Bill's corner.
Oh boy.
Let's dive into it. Bill, you have a
Uh-huh.
great topic of conversation for Bill's corner this week, I think.
Okay. Let's dive in.
Walk me through the topic of Bill's corner for this week.
Ah, the Mets, and they're amazing. Okay, but it's early. Now, these boys have started out 18 and 8. This is freaking, if you're in Queens, you're like wetting your pants and pinching yourself and wanting to know what's going on, right? A couple of statistics that we should pay attention to. Let's pay attention to hits. Pete Alonso leads the club with 31, followed by, listen, Francisco Lindor, number 12, says, hey, here, hold my Gatorade. It has 30. You've got Juan Soto, got Brandon Nimmo. A lot of these guys are starting to connect. But here's what they're doing. They're actually pitching very, very, very well. If you look at their pitching numbers, their starting pitching, Senga, counts. Peterson, 28 strikeouts. Griffin Canning, 26, which, by the way, I love the fact that this dude is getting better. He's a local kid. Clay Holmes, 54. Uh, McNeil, 30. I mean, they are doing very well. Uh, Edwin Diaz is struggling a little bit right now. You know, trumpet, but he's bouncing back. These guys are as good as I think Mets fans were hoping that they play, but we're cautiously optimistic. But what they're doing is they're beating good teams. They're not, I mean, they just manhandled the Philadelphia Phillies. They're not beating teams that suck, right? They're not
Yeah.
beating the rebuild teams. They're beating the teams that are very, very, very effective.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a really good point. I mean, when they're facing teams that are over a 500 record, they're 9-3.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Listen, they come to LA at the end of next month. I want them to somebody blow the fire out for a little bit because they're going to come to LA and then LA has to go to Queens. I'm not looking forward to this. Blow the
yeah.
fire out.
Yeah. I mean, they have the best uh record against teams above 500 than any other team in baseball. I mean, like they are blowing it out of the water when it comes to teams that are above 500 against any other team in baseball. I mean, let's just take a look at the league. Let's just take a look at the league leader or the division leaders for each division. The Yankees are 4-9 against teams above 500. The Tigers are 6-6 against teams against 500. Rangers 9-11. Mets 9-3. Cubs 17-10. And then you got the Padres at 10-8. I mean, this Mets team is just been on fire. But the thing also to notice is that the Mets don't have as like they have a 35 run differentiation between scored and allowed, but they've only scored 109 runs.
Mhm. Because their pitching has been so good.
Yeah,
And here's the thing about the Mets that I think is important to notice. The last couple of seasons and last season they made it to the league championship series. Okay, so but if you ask most Mets fans, find me the Mets fan that says, yeah, at the beginning of last season, I knew we'd be in the championship series. And I'm going to say, Arch, BS, 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 BS meter. Most of the Mets fans that I talked to, they were grateful that they had made it that far. They did not expect that.
yeah,
That being said, that being said, The last couple of seasons, they either pitched really good or they hit really good, but they never put them together. Right now, they're putting them together. They are the best team in baseball as we speak. The best team in baseball. They're 18-8. They are the best. Okay. There is not one person that looks at the Dodgers lineup and looks at the Mets lineup and says, gee, the Dodgers aren't I mean, they would some people thought that the Dodgers were going to break the record with that the Tigers had set at 35-5. The Mets are rolling and they're doing it and the funny part is they're having fun and Juan Soto hasn't even heated up yet. Wait until Juan Soto heats up.
Yeah. Do now you made a really good point to me.
I always do.
Okay, showboat.
Dodger fan.
I can't with you. But you made a good point. It's early. We were only a month into the season.
Uh-huh.
So, and the Mets have a history of doing what we like to call here at ATD, and that's
No,
called,
that you like to call. I'm
okay, it's
not
what I like to
I,
call.
I don't want to get buried
Well,
under a
notice I said
turnpike.
ATD. I didn't say TFR. I said what we like to call here at ATD
Okay.
is the Mets metting.
Okay.
Do you see this Mets team metting as they've done in the past, or do you see them doing what the Dodgers did last year, which is getting a lead in this division and just steamrolling through the rest of the year?
You ask a very good question. Okay. You ask a very good question. And it will all determine how May plays out. If in May, just just hear me out for a second. If in May the Mets in their next whatever, how many, what is that, 24, whatever. Let's just say that in their next 24 games, they duplicate what they've done in their first 24. They will now be 36-16. There'll be 20 games over 500. That'll be really hard to blow
Yeah,
at that point. You're 48 games in the season, that'll be really hard to blow. Okay. But if at the end of the next 24 games, they go 12-12, right? And now they're 30-20, and they're only 10 games over 500. Pay attention to the Nationals and how good the Nationals are. Pay attention to the Phillies. Pay attention. The Phillies are going to want some blood after what's happened over those last weeks. So it'll all be determined on what happens in the next 25 games or so.
yeah. And I mean, like you said, you can't sleep on the Phillies. I mean, that Phillies lineup is stacked from top to bottom. So it's only a matter of time until that Phillies organization turns a corner and figures it out and puts it together.
Yep.
And they start rolling
Yeah.
because we've seen the Phillies start slow and then just pick it up as summer arrives. And you do not want to be in the way of this Phillies team if they are,
Nope.
steamrolling through in June. So,
Nope. Well, Sam, I
Bill,
know we're running out of
yeah,
time, but
we're time is unfortunately never a fan of us as we usually go overtime, but we're gonna try to keep it to time today. So take me
okay.
through your schedule for this week.
American League with Ashley this week is going to be awesome. Junior, new Reds fan, welcome to the clubhouse. Rob, Yankees fan, welcome to the clubhouse. Unraveling baseball with Mike from Heads Up Sports Cards, and we're going to talk about him in a second. Two Girls with the Yaps will be on this Friday, so it doesn't get any better. We got some great shows, and they've been getting crazy amounts of listens this month, which is phenomenal. Thank you for
Oh,
that.
love
Thursday,
that.
Thursday we'll do a sports talk fan involved. Obviously in the leagues Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. We got series recaps this week with Mikey. We're gonna be all over the place. So
You never stop, Bill. You work, you do
somebody asked me the other day,
TFR.
when do I sleep? I said, yeah, what's that mean?
Sleep is a non-existent point at this point. Uh,
Exactly.
this week, 27 Ounce Club
Woo!
comes back with us with a nice two-box break. Topps Heritage 2025 dropped this past Wednesday. So Bill went out, scoured the card scene, and was able to grab a hobby box of that. And then he is pairing that up with a amazing 2021 Panini Prism Mega Box. And you are gonna want to get in this one. If you are part of the 27 Ounce Club, you are already secured your one spot of your favorite team. If you have not, make sure you get there and sign up. However, if you purchase two, and if you're looking at this on YouTube, I'm holding up two fingers. If not, and you're listening to it on Bleacher Brothers Radio, I'm saying it. If you purchase two additional teams, you will be entered into a chance to join the Wheel of Success for a Shane Bieber autograph card. I have seen the card. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous card. Um, on the Heritage. It's on Card Auto. It is just great. You want to get this card. You want to get involved in it. So make
Here-
sure you sign up. The break drops on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Here's the thing, Sam. There's only 12 teams left, okay, or 10 or something like that. They're $10 a slot. Even if you want that Shane Beaver card in your teams, it's costing $20 for the chance to get the Shane Beaver card. Worst case scenario, it costs you $20. You get your cards and you give them to a neighborhood kid, and you don't get the Shane Beaver card.
That's it.
Best case scenario, you spend $20 on a card that you can go get graded, and then I'm sure you'll be able to sell for a couple $100 when Shane retires.
100%. Couldn't agree more. So make sure you are checking out the 27 Outs Club and getting involved. Bill, as we wrap up the show, any final we want to thank our sponsors
Yep.
again, Gravity Red Productions and Lang Roofing. Thank you for doing what you do and supporting us so we can do what we do. Any final comments for the fans out there before I close this out?
Oh, sir. Go fight, win. Let's do this, Sam.
Go fight, win as always. Well, make sure you're checking out TopFanRivalry.com for new articles, podcasts, merch. If you haven't joined either the T-shirt club or the 27 Outs Club, make sure you get to TopFanRivalry.com and sign up. If you use the code ATD in all capital letters, it will get you 10% off your uh any of the items in the locker room, shirts, cards, you name it. Bill's got it. And it'll also get you a little discount on your Top Fan Rivalry membership. So make sure you
Yes.
get there, use the code, sign up. Also, check out the exclusive member events Bill puts on in May. There is going to be an incredible exclusive member event that is virtual. You are not going to want to miss it. I'm telling you, this is one I will absolutely be on. I am begging Bill to do it on a day I can be there and not a day I'm traveling for work. So, Bill, please keep my thoughts in mind when you plan this. And make sure you check out TFR Fan Fest every January. It is
There
a
you
great
go.
time for the community to get together, talk to us in person, get our autographs, get our feedback,
Yeah.
our brains. We're excited to see you. But thank you so much for joining us this week on ATD, and we will see you on the field next week.